What a week for crypto. As we can see, I haven't seen this much green in a very long time. What's up, everybody? How we feeling? I see we had Bitcoin attempt that 21K. It tried it again. Here we go. We could see it did attempt it. Now, we are getting a big range market. You can see it very clearly now. The percentages are getting huge. The growths are big. The pullbacks are huge. I'm always here to humble you, to say, remember, we buy pullbacks, don't FOMO into the pumps. But so far, so good, guys. We have the 10-year yield, which started dropping trend. We have the Dixie starting to drop trend. We have the stock market attempting and getting to a point of where it can break a crucial trend for the end of the year. And it's actually quite crazy. The US 30 is around 15% away from all-time high. Crazy. It's not that far. Not that far. Now, we have FOMC meeting on Wednesday. So there is a possibility of a continuation of this pump. Maybe a pullback throughout that time, which we can take advantage. But ultimately, guys, what I'm going to go through here is where we are with Bitcoin. Where is the next level we can see if we continue this breakout? Or where do we pull back? Where do we load up on the altcoins? Because look at this chart. Bitcoin dominates tanking. Altcoins, baby. Altcoins. So we got to remember they're crazy volatile. But right now, the money is with the altcoins. Let's get some entries. Let's see where they're all at. Josh, do me a favor. Smash a button!
Click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click. Enter the sniper. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, what's happening? To anyone that is new, smash that subscribe button. Guys, I'll sit here and say it again. To all of those that stayed throughout the last few weeks, well done. To those who got scared and they went away from crypto for a while and possibly even got scared and actually sold out at those times, it's another big lesson for you. Millionaires are built in the bear market. It's the hardest market. It's the most suffocating and incredibly demotivating market ever. But if you stay confident in the areas, these gains do happen. And we need to remember that crypto is the quickest moving market. When it dumps hard and we go through crazy journeys. But when it pumps, holy shit, does this market do things that we haven't seen before? This market absolutely erupts at any point. And we're starting to see a little bit of that from the altcoins. Now, we are at a crucial stage when it comes to Bitcoin because we still have a big squeeze area. And that squeeze area is from now until 22K. After that, there's a big area of up to 25K, and then there's an area up to 30K. So will we know which one we get to? We'll set up the different tools that we need to understand that. But ultimately, if we continue on this road, there's some big gaps. And throughout that gap, you can have a Bitcoin pump, and then you're going to have an altcoin catch up. And we can start to see that now, how it's happening. Where all of a sudden this morning, I woke up and ETH exploded again. And I look at Solana exploded again. And a lot of these tokens started to just rip again when Bitcoin, and you can see how that dominance is slowly starting to shift between the two. So it wasn't just, it started off with the Bitcoin pump, and now we're looking at a market pump in total. And it still falls back that it goes to Bitcoin, ETH, altcoins, Bitcoin, ETH, altcoins. And ultimately what we got to do, guys, is we have to stay out throughout all the journeys of this. You need to understand that you cannot be demotivated and get out when the market trends sideways and it's doing really bad. I see this thing is flashing up and down. So guys, I'll see if I can get that sorted as I'm going here. So guys, first thing, as I'm about to jump in, remember guys, we do have all of our sponsors. I got BYBIT, I got BitGet, I got OKX. Shout out to all of them. Fantastic exchanges. We use them all the time. I love them very much. Remember, guys, if you want to sign up, use the links below. You get many different sign-up bonuses for either exchange. You can see which one you like, which one you enjoy. We like all of these. I really enjoy trading with all of these. And by you signing up with that link, it does support the channel financially. But what it also does is it gives you access into our Discord. Now, our Discord, you'll see, is a great place for you to come and have a community. Very important. You can see there's over 24,000 members in this group. And what it does is we have a VIP section. And in order to get into that VIP section, you've got to be using one of our exchange links. If you do that, it gets you into that. And what you're basically able to do is then get our short-term calls, our long-term calls. You get access to all the different traders that are at Banter, and it's all there for you. So you can click on the link below and you'll get into that. And remember, guys, we have the trading competition where the guys are doing well. I see there's a couple of guys doing 500, 600%. Trading competition is really nice in this current market, in a market that's ranging and it's moving quite a bit. It's not just there for you to win the money. You can win up to 100K in prizes, but it's also there to rate yourself and to also get awareness that people can make money in this market very much. And if you can use your previous data to say, how good am I out of 10? Let me try 10 trades. Use $10. I don't care what it is. You have to rate yourself. How good are you? Once you know your own data, you can build a system off that data. Very simple. So look to become, here's all the instruction, guys, on how to do that. So let's jump into and see what's currently happening. So we had a little push from Bitcoin again this morning. And basically what it did was it went slightly higher than the 21K. So our first stop was more or less exactly the $21,000 zone. And then we had a slight little push above that. Now, I do think that this is a big area where bears are going to still try hold this level. For me, this is the start of, you see this resistance here. This previous low over here is a major resistance that we're fighting right now. And you can see that's why we're starting to get these little bit of wicks. And we're starting to get a little bit of fight in this area from the bulls, the bears. They're trying to hold this little area. Reason being is because after this, the gap is really big. And the gap basically sends us to 22K, if not 23K after this. So what we do have is we have FOMC meeting next week. We'll see what happens. 50 basis points. I don't know. But what is very interesting, guys, is we need to take in consideration of where stock markets are. You're starting to see eruptions now. You can start to see that the US 30 is very near an important breakout. And a possible breakout that we break out from these levels to the top over here, guys, 11% away from all-time highs. What do you think? Guys, pop in the comments there. Is it possible? Is it possible that the stock markets get towards all-time high? What do you think? It's just hodl. It's safer. I agree and I don't disagree. I hodled and I lost $4 million in my portfolio from hodling. So I could have done a lot of money. I could have helped a lot of people with that. I don't agree fully on hodling. I agree on hodling and building a portfolio in a bear market and definitely banking profits the way up. So hodling is cool, but it gives me a heart attack. I don't want to be rich, poor. I want to be smart. I want to be rich. I want to bank out and I want to buy a shit ton of coins when it's cheap. And that's ultimately what we're going to keep working. Hodling is cool. But I'm tired of this roller coaster. So stock markets, interesting place. 10-year yield, interesting place. Popping its head through the trend again. Now, we've had one time before this where it did bounce and it did get through. So what you want to pay attention with this chart on the daily and on the 12-hour is keep in mind that if we can close under here and we can get rejected here and we can break this low, it's then confirmed that we have finally broken this. And if we continue to break this, this can be really good because this is something that's been running since August. And ever since then, the markets have been terrible. Bitcoin's been terrible. Everything's been terrible. And now we're finally showing weakness again. So if we can have this in a downtrend, my target is going down to the areas of 3.2. And that's quite a big drop. And if we can have a leg down like that, you can actually go for yourself and go look at the last time we had this leg down or what the market did in that time. It's a bullish market. It's good. So let's pay attention on this. We don't want this to break back in. Otherwise, Bitcoin can get a slight rejection at 21 and possibly we go to bottom ranges again. But I will go through that shortly. But this is ultimately something where we must very much focus on. And then we obviously have the Dixie, which had a small bounce on support. So this is why, if Dixie breaks this is a long trend on Dixie now. This is all the way from February. This is basically the whole year of the dollar just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And we know as long as this has been going up, we do know that the markets have been quite sad. Now, if we finally break this trend, and what that incorporates is we needed our first real lower low. And for the first time on a high time frame, we do have our first real lower low. Now, lower high from here and break of trend. This not only is a trend of us breaking to say that this bullish momentum can continue, it basically means that we can have the dollar slowing down for a few weeks. And that ultimately can be really exciting. What do we want in this market right now? Do we want Bitcoin to rally straight to 25 from here now, like next week? Or do we want the gradual growth of Bitcoin over the next, 6 weeks? We want a 6-week run. Ultimately, if we do have a 6-week run and we have this dollar index actually drop properly, we can actually be quite surprised on where this little pump can actually go. Does not mean that we're out of the recession or we're out of these sort of terrible marks for the next 2 years. But it does mean that we can finally have that relief rally that we've been speaking about in the markets. And ultimately, let me paint you the picture of what this could mean for Bitcoin. So what we have is we do have these. This is currently the mess that we are fighting right now. We spoke about all these areas, and I did this chart a while ago, where we finally break this high. We start a squeeze. That's why it's fighting pretty hard right now. But the gap's big. It's got one more resistance, and from that 23 now becomes the open door. Now, one thing we've also learned is as fast as you fall one side is as quick as you can grow the other side, upside down bar. We've seen this many times. But from this push over here to this area, we then have the next step of 25k. Okay, this is basically the range. Bitcoin's in a massive range, and it could stay in this range for quite a while. Okay, we might actually get a fake out to the top first. Sort of what I'm thinking could be a possibility. If we do have the dollar index drop and we go into a proper, stock markets go near all-time highs, like we really have a strong bullish end to this year, we could be quite surprised. Because for me, this has never been tested. And I kind of feel that this has to be tested before new lows would happen. Because that's sort of how the market works. The market sort of works in a sense of if we make big moves, we always come test these lows to continue the next big move. So for me, we've never done this. We haven't tested and we haven't come to the areas of testing this yet at all. So if we do go test that and we get rejected here, it does still give me the possibilities of a 12K Bitcoin possibly after that, because technically we are still in a very long-term bearish pattern. But one thing we do know is that we did break the weekly. Now, the weekly was a very important trend. It was a trend that's been going on since the all-time highs. We did break that. Now, all that indicated was the market, something's changed. It's not in the same sort of pattern or something that it's been in for the whole year. This was a very direct, strong momentum push. Right now, what it's told you is something's changed. Does it mean it's I feel the bottom is in? Possibly. Time will tell. Time will tell. We break this one, we can definitely have that argument that it could be. But what this basically means is we've stopped this. We've stopped this heavy stabbing momentum to the downside, which was a very important wound to heal. Now, in order for that, what it means is it doesn't mean that the market goes from here to there. It doesn't mean that. But it can mean something of market does this and market does this for the rest of the next 2 years. Now, if that does happen, you're looking at a massive range. You're looking at a Bitcoin 17 to 30K range for the next 2 years. And then we can build up for the 100K move after that. Or it could be something where this goes up here, where we do have this as a correction, where this pumps. This is just one scenario. This pumps up here, and then we have the next leg. Could be definitely. Ideally, this is the very bearish move. So if Bitcoin runs to 50K from here in this year, it's bearish because it's too fast and it's not going to last at all. Ultimately, the bullish scenario that we want to see is we want to see Bitcoin go up to the areas of 30K, come down and basically do this for a while. Get depression, get that quick little shakeout, and then continue the actual next move. Luna was the Black Swan event. I agree. But ultimately, we cannot ignore where we are right now. We've seen some gains. We've seen the market start to erupt. And then we look again and we're like, holy shit, look how small this little weekly candle is. This can get a lot more interesting because that is tiny. Small, cute, very, very, very cute little move over there. And as you can see on the weekly, the 23K, the 25K, and the 30K. Those are our next targets to the upside sort of momentum. So what about doing short time frame? And then we can start going through. I see Bitcoin getting rejected here. Okay. I see it having a small rejection here. And ultimately, it's doing two things. It's basically either building a bull flag. And what I mean by that is we basically come down here. We're looking for a higher low. We got the closing. We build this flag. And then Bitcoin can have its next little rally to the upside. Definitely possible. Or this was not the full buy that they wanted. I still feel the move's good. Where did Bitcoin bounce? It basically bounced on this support zone over here. That's where it basically bounced, on that wick area over there. For me, there's still these. Okay, only if Bitcoin closes above and goes to 22K from here can I not ignore that we could still come to these areas over here. So either we got that bull flag, and the way we know that is we basically take our RSIs, we put them in, we wait to see when our 4-hour, 8-hour, and 12-hour have hit the bottoms. You can see they're all basically sitting in the middle right now. And if we hold this previous low that we made of 20K and all these RSIs at the bottom, for me, it's really strong. We're not going much lower than that. It is time to load up strong because we're going to go chase the next higher high. We feel higher low, strong momentum, higher high after that. Until then, if we do have this rejection over here, we can still see the possible, 19,700, 19,800. Now, it's important, guys. The market's bullish. Buy cheap, buy cheap, buy cheap, buy cheap. It's ripping big. It's going to pull back fast. It's going to rip big. It's what the market's doing. So for you to FOMO in right now doesn't make sense. But to have orders ready at 20K and 90K, 800 makes sense. Keep in that momentum, guys. Don't get trapped in chasing these pumps. Keep buying the pullbacks because we're still in a bullish momentum. And ideally, you're actually building yourself up. This is the small move, in my opinion. If things go really bullish from here, this is the really small move. There's the two scenarios. This is the small move from here to 22. The big moves from 22 to 30. That's ultimately the big one. So you want to continue in the momentum of buying those pullbacks. Use the 4-hour, 8-hour, and 12-hour RSIs to do that. In that time, what should happen is if Bitcoin does pull back now, dominance should go up. We'll see. It looks like dominance is extremely powerful within the altcoins at the moment. And as long as this chart, for me, is going down the way it is now, I don't think the temporary high is in just yet. Possibly. So what I said there is if Bitcoin reverses from where we are now, I do see a higher low and I do see us chasing the next one. Or the high is not in just yet and the pullback's not going to happen just yet. It's first going to go to 22 to 23K. Now, the reason why I'm saying that, okay, let me show you. Let's look at ETH. ETH right now pumped this morning, right? And it did pretty good, showing a lot of strength, and it did pretty well. Now, what it has is one resistance over here. That's currently where we got rejected. It's got the next one, which is here. Now, I'm putting this into format of looking for patterns. Looking for patterns and making sense that why would ETH just turn over here? Now, if it does, is it bullish that this was the leg? Like, did ETH go far enough? What you do is you'll take a fib from the top to the bottom. We're still in golden zone. So for me, we want to break through that on this leg. If we turn here, this can still be a rejection that can take us down to lower levels. Definitely, it can. It's still golden zone sort of area. Ideally for me, I want to see the bullish pattern, the ultimate bullish pattern. And that one for me is there's the left shoulder, there's the head, we make the right shoulder, and then we push. I do still think this pullback is coming at some point, guys, a decent pullback. I do think, though, that we can possibly go higher before that and then have that pullback. Or from here, we go down, we test, higher low, and then we go there. And later on, we get that little pullback. Because if you looked at the stock market charts, everything's going sort of parabolic in that sense. And that at some time will have a small bounce as well at any sort of time. So I'm not buying ETH. ETH is looking really strong to Bitcoin. It's looking really strong. Look at the ETH dominance, showing a lot of strength. So I think a lot of people sat there and like, oh, the merge happened. Why didn't it pump? The merge was a good thing long-term time frame for ETH. I think over time, this is a big step for ETH. And I think ETH's always just going to overpower Bitcoin when the markets turn really bullish throughout these times. So it was sort of a long-term sort of effect. They did sell the news, always sell the news. It's things that we got to get used to. But ultimately, I think for the long time frame, it's strong. And for me, more ETH than Bitcoin is my strategy. I do feel it's going to continue the momentum. So let's actually go through some of the altcoins here and have a look. So BNB on fire right now, breaking through completely all-time higher highs, looking strong. For me, this is up, and we need a temporary pullback. It might go slightly higher from here, but on the pullback around 294, a 5% pullback from here is my load up zone on BNB. After that, I do see us chasing the next high. So it's all about the question: do we go higher first within this weekend, and then we pull back, or do we pull back now and then go chase through that? I kind of feel if we have a small pullback now, higher low, it gives us more legs to really break through. I think if we keep running from here, we're getting into that zone where something's just not stopping. And then you can end up falling into that very fast little wick down at any point or something like that. But either way, we've got to basically trade both. So for me, this could go higher. It could go higher to these areas, which is probably what it will do. So it's not worth me buying it right now, risk to reward. Because think about it. If I want to buy this trade right now, where do I put my stop loss? Where do I put my areas? I'm buying here. I could go here. So it means I have to put a huge stop loss, just for this little reward. And ultimately, if you look at the two, that looks like a red or black. If I buy right now, 50% chance I come back first, 50% chance I'll make money. So it's basically gambler's mentality. But if this comes back down here, stop loss here, gains there, this looks better for me. That's my little loss. That's my win if I take the trade. But BNB is one I'm buying on this next pullback, definitely. I think it looks incredibly strong. It looks really strong to Bitcoin, and it looks really good. Let's look at MATIC. MATIC's still fighting that 95-cent mark, still fighting. So the way to trade MATIC right now is to continuously buy on support. So for me, the real time that I really want to buy MATIC is on the next pullback to around 87 to 88 cents is my zone. So I'm just buying anything that comes and tests the support trend line in that sort of move. I know that it's currently fighting a hard battle. It's fighting this big area over here. This is where all the resistance is on this token. After that, the resistances are really high gapped. And you basically can see this token go to 1.3 really quick. So this is the time for you to accumulate in the rough stage, loading up. And when it finally gets through, you want to have your bags, because by the time that happens, it's going to be really hard. I still think we can't mess with MATIC. MATIC's a monster. They've been building really big in the bear market. And I feel it's one you got to have in your portfolio, definitely. Definitely for me, I'm having that. So around, let's actually have a look, 85 cents, 88 cents, definitely. You missed the pump. Don't stress. Don't stress at all, because this could just be the start. Wait for the decent pullback. Get your damn good entries. That's the definite one. ALGO, not doing much right now. 31, 32 cents. I'm adding up there. Let's look at AVAX. So you see here, guys, for me, it's kind of weird that we stop here. But let's see. If it is, it means it's temporary for me, and it's the bigger push on the next one. But ultimately, I thought AVAX will go a little bit higher here. Then we can have that strong. I do see a decent pullback coming, guys. I'll get into Solana now. I do see a decent pullback coming. It's all about, do we get the high first, or do we have a short-term pullback now at the moment? But AVAX, 17, 1650, 17 is the buy. Don't chase the pump. This is not the pump. Look at AVAX. This is nothing, man. This is nothing. The big one is still yet to come. And that's the big move that I'm looking that takes us higher to these areas. So possibly on the next buy can give you the real juice for the next move that we're looking at. So just be patient on that. We're probably looking at around about a 15% or 10% drop. And that's where you want to capitalize. Don't fall into the trap, guys. Very important. We got EGLD. So EGLD, I think, is a token that I'm loading up only if I get it really cheap. And really cheap for me is, well, cheap-ish for me is around $48 to $49. But this one might turn into a good short. So for any short-term traders, if we break this trend within this weekend, the gap's pretty big. And I think EGLD could be one of your favorite shorts of a 10, 12%. So keep aware of that for the short-term traders. THETA, Mama Sniper's happy. Mama Sniper's very happy. The only thing that I see here is I see a chart that's moving very fast, which doesn't always mean the good thing. But what I do see is a very odd place for it to stop right now. If it does, it's only a small pullback and we chase through. That's ultimately the way I look at here. Or this goes up a little bit more here. We form the right shoulder and then we break. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and push. Ultimately, I think you have to have THETA in your position. I still think that this is a $4 to $6 move. to where it is. So $1 to $4. This is personally, it's my biggest alt bag other than Bitcoin and ETH. My biggest alt bag is THETA, but I'm very, very clever with buying it. So the areas that you can look to load up is the support of 1.1. The next one is around 103. And that's obviously if a decent pullback happens in the market. But where this broke and what it's on the roadmap that it's onto right now, we have the news, we have the main net end of the year, and we have volume coming into this market right now, especially into THETA. And I'm still looking at these higher areas as first targets. And like I said, $3 to $4 is my next. Let's focus on loading up and building the portfolios. If you are buying THETA, you're buying TFUEL, definitely. Definitely. And the way I do that is 95% THETA, 5% TFUEL. They run together beautifully. It's the same if you got VET or VTHO. Buy the tokens because they work together really strong. Solana, okay, big one, guys, big one. So Solana obviously showing good strength at the moment and obviously looking really well. But for me, very random place to stop. Very random place to stop. So we'll see. So ultimately, what I did think was we're going to get to around 34.3 on Solana in this area, pull back to 31, 32, and then the break that takes us towards the 45. I think this market, if Bitcoin goes to 25, 27, I think Solana goes close to $45, $50, and then I'm out. Because I think we come back to the 20s after that. We'll see. But either way, I'm looking at a 70% growth on the really bullish move. If that's how it plays out, I'm looking at a 70% move on Solana. So I want that in that time. But this is the pattern. So don't chase into this pump. Either we pull back from here, we don't get to that resistance. That means we come back down here to early 30s, or we break up there, we come test, we're loading up, and then we can move on to the next area. We got Cardano. Now, this one's interesting. This one's very interesting because look at the trend. Look at the trend. Nice trend. Now, what we have is our head slightly popping out here. So if we get a big rejection today, this is probably the perfect short. For a move back down to, probably a 10% move, quick move, take profits. Any shorts now, guys, be careful. Be very careful of shorts now because the market can rip at any point now. Like, remember how it was where 3 weeks ago, be careful with longing? It's the same way now. Be careful with shorting because the bulls are angry. They're like vicious right now. So be very careful. But if this does, it might be a short-term one. But ultimately, I'm looking at this go to around 4.4, retest of 40, and then back to the areas of 55 and these sort of areas. But this leg, this for me is leg 1. Leg 3 is always the biggest one. Leg 5 is slightly smaller. So be aware of Elliott wave. Very important. Now, NIA, guys. NIA for me, completely lagging. Okay. And looking weaker. It's one of the only ones that made a lower high today, like a real lower high. So for me, NIA, they've been building strong, just as strong as MATIC, in my opinion. And I think NIA does come down to around 2.9. And if it comes to 2.9, for me, this is still one of the more bullish ones. I think this outperforms Solana. I think it outperforms AVAX. I think it outperforms these tokens on the next leg up. So this is one that I'm making sure I'm adding because it's not as far from the lows as all the other tokens. All the other tokens are here already. This one's still near. And the token's called NIA. Let's look at the next one, SUSHI. SUSHI ripping. This token's just like, I was playing with it and I was playing little shorts on it the other day. And it's like, wow, this coin is vicious right now. It's like really, really, really aggressive. Breaking a good closing candle trend on the dailies. And look at this gap. This gap's huge. So what it has is this resistance here. And then the gap's massive all the way to 2.7. So what I'm doing is I'm buying the pullback around 1.5 on this area. And ultimately, I'm looking at the goal of 2.7. So for me, the risk to reward, that's a really good one. DeFi is rolling right now, looking good. Next one for me is Fantom. I'm definitely loading up some Fantom. Guys, I'm going crazy with spots right now. Spot, you can't tell me look at your long-term portfolio today. Like, we're making money on the longer-term views now. So swing trading is really good right now. Day trading in and out very fast. Trade the obvious ones. The coin that's pumped 25%. You track it with a trend line. When it slows down, RSI is high, quick short. The coin that's been dumping hard, RSI, quick long, like, you know, there's a big range on short time frame, but ultimately you're going to make a lot of money in spot by getting the right entries and taking profits at really big areas and buying back at big areas. But ultimately Fantom, early 20s, you know, 21 cents I wanted. I'm trying to get to the area of being able to get out of this around 36 to the 40 cent mark. So I'm looking for 100% trade in Fantom. Chiliz is the next one, 18 cents, World Cup. I still think this goes to 35, 40 cents if Bitcoin runs. Remember, this all works on Bitcoin running to the 25, 28. We're working on 25 as the first target, but ultimately we could be lucky and have a 30K Bitcoin. We could. DOT, really strong. I'm looking at DOT, early $6. Chainlink. So Chainlink, be a bit more patient, but I think we got time for Chainlink in, I'd say about a month, 3 weeks. Then the real break happens on Chainlink. So be patient for this one, but this one's going to be a big one. It's going to be like the THETA one. Okay, next one, guys. XRP. 40 cents. I'm buying XRP. Huge break. Beautiful retest right now. And the next target for me is $1. So when this is ready to go, I think it does very similar to Doge. Let's actually give a shout out to Doge token. Look at this. Now, does this trend not look very similar to the XRP? Close. Long-term trend. We break. All of a sudden, we're ripping. I would take profits on Doge here because I think we can buy it back at 7 cents. But we'll see how it goes from there. But XRP, don't sleep on it. I think it's a big one to jump in there as well. So guys, I am shooting school. I wanted to bring you guys a quick show. Don't chase the pumps. There could be another 10% to the upside now, but there is going to be a 15% correction at some point. Load up on the ones that's not. That dominance looks like it's going to completely tank. We could have stock markets reaching near all-time highs this year. Let's keep tracking and keep working together throughout all of this. Remember trading competition. Remember using our links below. Remember joining our Discord and all of that. I'm going to get back to shooting. I'm excited. Sniper School's nearly done. We're about to launch. Much love, Banter fam, and I'll see you all on Monday. Much love.